There they are, the Whippets, the Grayhound Gaming. Now, a lot of interesting conversation to be had. Fortunately, I have Chad Birchall and Yanko to chat to about this one. Gents, I actually have a little bit of an info surrounding Grayhound. I got to see them casting MDL. They were over there for the finals, and I think it was actually Dick Stacey who was turning heads as a player to watch, as one of the hardest hitters. You heard from him there saying that people will laugh at us when we say we're confident. What's your reaction when they say they're confident?
Look, I think the point that Rush made in the sense of they don't really know the opponent they're going up against, and they're just going to, that reads to me, they're just going to play their style of Counter-Strike. And obviously for this, we had the same thing with Legacy versus Renegades. The underdog is always going to do a lot of prep work going up against the team that I guess is the favorite. So there's more firepower in this Greyhound roster than there is that of Legacy. So I think, in terms of being confident, I don't see them winning the game, but I think it can be probably more competitive than the last matchup.
Okay, well they had confidence, Yanko. They think they can take it. What's your read of the situation?
Yeah, even if you recognize the guy on the right, if he seemed familiar, that's Malta. He played for Chiefs last year when they had that upset against North. So of course you can be confident, right? Coming into a best of one, you're going to get probably a map that you're comfortable on, and you know that anything is possible, right? I think the biggest thing is really what Rush said about they're going to prepare for Cloud9 extensively, right? When you know your opponents so far ahead, you really can study their game. You can pinpoint the veto to basically 2, maybe 3 maps, and you can do a lot of research. But the problem is, in reality, when the favorites, they just play a bit more loose. They don't treat you as a tier 1 team. They take more fights. They're more aggressive, and that's usually when you start struggling.
Is this where it's actually where the preparation starts biting you in the backside,
Sure.
Chad? You talked about this extensively at previous desks, where actually having expectations can be the flaw of a team.
Sure, and if you look into tendencies and they just play the loose style that Yanko's talking about, you find yourself chasing your tail. Now, I've always gone into tournaments as an underdog team, and you've done your prep work. The biggest thing that you have to do is force them to respect you. And the best way to do that is if you can grab the pistol round in the first gun round, and they've tried to be aggressive, they tried, to play loose, and at that point they've gone, okay, we have to dial it back. These guys are hitting shots. These guys actually know how to approach fundamental Counter-Strike. Now we need to play the actual version to now go toe-to-toe, as opposed to just running around and going for those opening kills or being a little bit loose like Yanko's talking about. And that's one of the hardest things to establish as an underdog team.
And that's what I'm going to be very interested and intrigued to know whether they can do. Can you keep Cloud9 in their cage and keep them playing the kind of Counter-Strike that they have been preparing for?
Look, I definitely think with this version of Cloud9, FNS in the roster as opposed to when they had Stewie, they're playing more of a regimented style. And we got to speak to FNS at Marseille, and he said, look, I'm just basically using the strats that these guys had. It's just the order in which we call them. And you could see in the early stages, especially on Mirage, it sticks out for me, that they were using, the set smoke strategies, and they were playing off of that. It wasn't let's go loose first and then bring in the strats. It was strats first. And I wonder if that's going to be the same approach here.
There seemed to be a lot of praise as well regarding FNS's calls. It seemed like a lot of Cloud9 did seem very comfortable with what was being given for them in his leadership style. We are going to start talking maps, though. We're going to bring that veto up and just, I imagine, glide through it. The same usual statements get made here where you're going to find a middle ground. It's going to be a map that both teams are comfortable on. The beauty of being able to veto 6 of the 7.
Fancy
and what
that.
are the chances? We end up on Mirage. The one perhaps notable point here is we do giggle, Yanko, is Cloud9 were given the choice between Cash and Mirage.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mirage is definitely a map where they're more comfortable at the moment. It's been even, with Stewie in the lineup, it's been one of their strongest maps, that and Train. So they're going to be super confident. And this is where we are going to repeat ourselves a little bit because of the Renegades Legacy matchup, right? On one hand, good for Greyhound. You can take those fights. Not that difficult to get into a bomb site, plant the bomb. But on the other side of things, there's also so many details about this map. Cloud9 especially, they set the tone. They kind of set the meta game to an extent with some of their strategies on the T side. The smoke that they can throw very early on the T side towards Catwalk, right? And the fast mid take into a fast A split. Those have been some, I don't want to say necessarily revolutionary, but very innovative strategies that caught a lot of people off guard at the major, right? That's where they basically whipped them out. So I think with that high pace is where Greyhound is going to struggle on the CT side.
Yeah, and I think, if you look to potentially bully the weakest link in Cloud9, which is FNS, we have seen him holding that B bomb site, and he's actually done a pretty stand-up job, right? Like, he's been against top-tier teams getting multi-frags, which is what you want your B anchor to do. So if they're going to look as that as the game plan, they're going to have a tough task ahead of them.
No, absolutely. And I think what's interesting as well is there was a lot of criticism towards Cloud9's T sides. It seemed to be where they were struggling the most. For example, in Marseille, they saw them take on Gambit, and it was their CT sides that were bringing them through, 10, 11 rounds on their defensive sides, unable to necessarily put pen to paper on their attack. And I guess the general consensus is that's what's going to take longer when you're integrating a new in-game leader.
Yeah, it's also a matter of they had some difficult starts on T sides, right? I think they were 7-0 down versus G2, then they've been a half bye with pistols and so forth, and once they picked up some steam was when they were more comfortable, and they actually managed to grind out that game, and against FaZe it was another Mirage game, so I think they've gained invaluable experience there with this particular squad, right, to realize that, things are not over, they can always come back. And talking about jet lag and everything, they were in Europe, then coming back to NA West Coast mostly, right, for only 4 or 5 days, and now coming to Australia, like they are probably going to be a little bit wrecked. But I think considering it's a best of one, and when you play a couple of days before, you can not necessarily adjust completely to the time zone, but at least for that little space of time where you play your game.
No, absolutely. I think expectations are high for Cloud9 in this tournament. I mean, that's my next question regarding Cloud9's roster and the fact that Scooter was in, he was out, he was doing the okie dokie. My question is just simply going to be in terms of their run, not necessarily in this matchup in particular, but when you look at their group, when you look at the other teams in attendance, do you think you can get another Cloud9 run that we did have in Marseille? Do you think they're going to be another kind of playoffs, semi-final, stumble versus a big team? Is that your expectation?
I definitely think they're in a good position to make the playoffs, right? The quarters is something which is well and truly within their grasp. The question mark is, which SK do we get? And I know that shouldn't really play into the Cloud9 discussion, but if SK fall flat again, opens the door for Renegades and Cloud9 to make it through. FaZe, to me, still seem like they have the most firepower, right? You get Nico to show up, you get Guardian to show up, you get Rain to show up. Doesn't really matter that Exist and Karrigan are towards the bottom of the scoreboard, even though Exist has been doing more of a stand-up job. But just rolling it back to Cloud9, we've seen Automatic on a tear recently, right? This guy has been putting up fantastic performances, tournament in, tournament out, and if he can keep it up here, it's definitely going to push them towards the playoffs.
And I'm glad you mentioned SK because that could be a fun second round game. Best of 3 between SK Gaming, Cloud9. Stewie's left the roster. Now they battle for a spot in the playoffs. It could be juicy.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be an interesting matchup in this particular group. You would expect Cloud9 to be a lock for the playoffs, right? It's Renegades and Tyloo, the two teams that could potentially upset, but really shouldn't in the grand scheme of things. And it will get particularly interesting in the playoffs, really, when they meet some of the teams from the other group. Depending if there are upsets, you expect Astralis to go in first, but it could be Mouse as well. So you could get, if you're third, that's where seeding is important here for Cloud9. Seeing as how FaZe is in their group, right, they're not on top of their game. They already beat them in Marseille. So Cloud9, in some scenario, could even go out in first place in that group, which would be great. So it's going to be very much matchup dependent, but I think, again, it's going to give us a nice little gauge where these teams are once we get into the playoffs, comparing it to their Marseille performance.
Just with the Grayhound for a second, in the sense of we're already kind of writing them off here, but this is the perfect storm for them to be able to get an upset victory. Yanko already pointed out the mayhem of the travel schedule that's been happening recently, especially for Cloud9. Grayhound, once again, the prep work, and then they do have individual players who can step up. They
got some info for me.
Well, this is the thing, right? I watched these guys back. They were in Perth when I was home, which feels like a lifetime ago now, if I actually recall.
A couple of months.
Like ages. I don't even remember, to be completely honest, but I was watching them play in a LAN cafe there. They were playing in an Asian qualifier, and I got to play online with a couple of these guys as they were coming up throughout the ranks in Australia. Urcast was one that always really stood out for me. He's actually Mongolian. But he is a fantastic player, and he's more like a slow, methodical guy, and he's fantastic at clutches if he can step up and have impact.
Okay.
Your boy, Big Dick Stacy, since he came on the scene, he hasn't been playing Counter-Strike for very long at all. And I think that he actually has a lot of influence. And then Malta, the guy coming in from Chiefs, he kind of just does a bit of everything. So within the roles in this team, I think it's pretty clear. They just need everybody to show up if they want to be able to go toe-to-toe with the Cloud9 roster.
And of course, Stacey is the one sitting in the middle, right? Makes perfect sense. But something that I'd like to talk about is, we're going to have a lot of favorites versus underdog matchups, right? And in Tier 1 Counter-Strike, we see a lot of times patience is exercised in every aspect of the game, especially clutch after plant situations, right? In retakes and all of that. No one is excessively peeking, taking unnecessary fights, which is good. But in a matchup like this, I feel like favorites sometimes, they mess up. They play too safe, right? They are so much into that mode of, on the other side, we have this great team and we need to be careful and we need to be super methodical. One of the reasons why you're the favorite and they're the underdog is you have a huge advantage in firepower. So sometimes the best way to win is just take as many fights as you possibly can, right? We sit here and we say, yeah, it's good for the underdog because, a map like Cash, a map like Mirage, Dust 2 now that it's back in the pool, you can take those fights, but that's if you're on top of your game and the other team is lacking, because in reality, if you're going to play like that, they still have the advantage.
Yeah.
They're better players, more skilled, better mechanically, right? They'll still, shoot you before you kill them, really. And I feel some of the upsets that we have lately in the last couple of months have been a result of the favorites playing actually too safe. And that's when the underdogs gain a lot of confidence and then they play basically above their average level.
Yeah, and I think, I'd like to kind of pull on that thread even further when it comes to what these players are capable of. I know, Chad, of course, the information is limited, but you've already given us some names to watch. Urcast, keep our eyes on him. Is there any other info regarding the two names that haven't been mentioned, Dexter and Gratification?
So Dexter actually played within North America for a period of time. There was the second Australian team to head over and play for a period of time, and they're actually in Pro League. They came last and got relegated and never went back. I forget the team name that they were running. Then it was almost a year and a half ago now, maybe. Back when I was still.
Dexter.
Yeah, Dexter. All these guys have experience playing internationally, right? Whether it's on the Asian scale, that they played at the Mountain Dew League. So it's against the tier 1 opponents where it's lacking. Grat, he's the AWPer for the team, so he's going to be going toe to toe.
I'll be sticking with Grat. I think that's a good one.
Well, you just cut it down, right? It's a long alias.
Gratisfaction. It's a good name. I like it.
Well, I just go with Urk as opposed to Urcast.
Yeah.
Grat. Yeah.
Grat.
Shorten it. You're in Australia. Australia, mate.
Malta.
Yeah. We call you Big Al down here.
I like it. That's what my PE teacher used to call me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When I was doing gym. Come on, Big Al. Slipped out. He was Mr. Flanagan. He was like, oh.
No.
Yeah, you hate to see it.
That's
you
not
really
ideal, is it?
Yeah. Wasn't a nickname at the time. Became one.
Yeah, I can
Thanks, Mr.
imagine
Flanagan.
so. That would catch on pretty quick.
Yeah.
Started off the Avalanche, basically.
Yeah, he did. It was all him. Anyway, back into the Counter-Strike realm. So, yeah. So, I'm very intrigued to know whether or not they have the individual ability, and I think this actually stems from a much larger discussion, which I guess we can just touch on. We'll likely return to.
Sure.
Which is just nurturing individual talent when you don't have that much to play against. Can you be the strongest mechanical player when you aren't playing against opponents that are better than you all the time?
Yeah, it's difficult, right? Because you can do things in these smaller regions which are actually punishable when you go up against tier 1 opponents, like over peaking, or like in a situation where you'd probably step out and catch someone who's a lesser opponent off guard and get a kill. If you do that against an automatic, a rush, a Taric, you get punished for it time and time again. That's where they need to either play a version of Counter-Strike that isn't. I think if you're an underdog team, it's better to play high-paced CS and play off momentum and not try and go toe-to-toe fundamentally, because you just don't have the same level of experience. You can't really take it to a team and go, we can approach every situation ABC, right? You don't have that experience. You've only got a very small depth chart to go off here. That's where teams like Cloud9 have a huge advantage. If they do get back up against the wall, they have so many ways out of that. If your game plan for a team like Grayhound doesn't work, what do you do?
There's no fallbacks, perhaps, for those underdog teams, Yanko.
Yeah, definitely. They have fewer ways to win the game, really fewer win conditions. But I think also something that's neglected at times when you talk about underdog teams is also movement, right? Not as players are getting better at, jiggle peeking and not just, wide peeking, where crosshair placement, it's very easy for your opponent to get the kill. He's basically pre-aiming. But it's movement in rotations, right? When you look at tier 1 teams, a lot of the times they're just walking everywhere, right? Up until the moment they explode. But if, your in-game leader makes the call, map like Cash, we're going to end up B, you're in A main, and you're like running back through mid. What if a player is close mid on the CT side, playing in, under the pipe or whatever, close to boost, then he can hear that. And that's all you need. Guys certainly rotates from A to B, you walk into stack, and you lose a very important round. And that sometimes they give, it's rarely going to be as obvious, like even, these lower tier teams don't do something like that, run all over the map, but it might be a small queue somewhere, right? A couple of steps. And these tier 1 teams, they're so good at the game. It's been a lot of time and a lot of experience, a lot of game sense, that even small sound cues like that can really give away, can make it easier for you to rotate and really expect or predict what the opponents are going to do.
Do you want a B-stream update, Alex?
You know what? Let's take a quick one. It does sound like the game is about to start, though, so do not panic if you're wondering at home why we're still talking. Just swapped out an SSD, and the players are going to be jumping into the server, so do not panic, do not fret. Cloud9 Grayhound coming up. But what's going down? I know FaZe versus Order was our first
that was on
order of business.
It was on Inferno. It finished up 16-4, so Order got one more round than last time they played, I believe.
Okay, so it was a 16-3.
Yeah, you were right yesterday
Previously.
when I corrected you in rehearsal. So I
Yeah,
apologize. I'm
hate to
sorry,
see
Alex. Yeah, so that's not a great start for Order.
16-4.
16-4 on Inferno, and then the next matchup is Tyloo versus SK, and that one's going down on Mirage, and that's where Tyloo upset SK all those years ago.
I was just thinking the same thing that was over in
Completely
DreamHack
different
Malmö.
lineup.
Yeah, different
Look,
roster
we just
entirely.
Both teams,
Gotta roll back
different
the years.
circumstances. Just bring it up for no reason.
No, but it is.
Come on,
it's
give me something.
It was a grudge match, and Fallen did witness the Tyloo roster knocking him out of a big offline event. Absolutely, he's still present, and so are some of them. But the question I think a lot of people are having, and I'm just actually loading up because I'm intrigued myself, this is going to be a very intriguing matchup because this is going to be a litmus test for us to see just how SK have landed after what was a brutal defeat.
Well, when it's a gimme like this and you're expecting them to take it in ease, you're hoping to see everybody firing, right? That's the thing. You want to see your stars. You need to see Fur being hyper-aggressive like normal, Cold Zero coming up with the plays of old, Fallen on point with the AWP. Stewie needs to have found his position within the team. They changed positions up, right? We saw with the SK when they played Mirage. Bolt's normally the A anchor over towards that B bomb site. So things have definitely changed in the SK landscape, and we're learning as they're kind of evolving. And this is one of the most interesting storylines. The once titans of Counter-Strike, the team that basically changed the way that we look at CS and the way to approach it, is in a bit of a struggle street right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's a roster. That's definitely a roster to keep your eyes on. Then SK, the fact that if they don't win that one, it is going to be a rather cutthroat world for them as they continue to battle through this group. But should they win it, they'll be playing against this roster on your screens now. Stewie with his new Brazilian roster taking on Cloud9 with FNS in lock. I mean, actually, an interesting question for you. It's going to be the last question of this segment. But Yanko, FNS giving some final leadership to what was otherwise quite a limbo. Tarek's leading, Stewie's leading. Do you think this was actually long-term what Cloud9 needed?
Yeah, at some point, definitely, like an actual leadership figure and someone who's going to do the role 100%. Tarek really feels like he can do a lot individually. And he was doing a lot even while he was in-game leading, which was even more surprising. But now, you know, Skadoodle, the primary opper, Automatic and
Clear
Tarek,
roles.
the 2 stars, Rush, the entry fragger support player, and FNS, another in-game leader / support player. What I want to see the most out of this lineup is Skadoodle not being like a support as the opper. I want the team to work more for him. I want him to take more initiative, and I think if you can establish those roles correctly, and if players accept them, I think Cloud9 can even be a better lineup than they were with Stewie.
Now, it is something we often talk about, but the Skadoodle taking initiative is such an intriguing conversation.
When I spoke to Stewie at Katowice, and he said in the major, Skadoodle rocked up to the event and decided to be an assertive AWPer, and that's just a decision he made going into a tournament, my mind is
That can't be an
blown.
active decision. Like, you know what? I think I'm going to make decisions now.
Well, it's like the whole Freiburg thing that, you know, that Mr. Henry G talks about all the time. When Freiburg decides to try.
It's not a thing. You don't decide to try.
I like how some
a
players
meme.
just say, if I can get 100 hours in 2 weeks, I'm like gonna knock it out of the park. What's preventing you for having that all the time? It's
And winning
literally
hundreds of
your
thousands of
job.
dollars.
It's literally your job. You're getting paid a lot of money. You get to play in these amazing arenas, play a game in front of the fans. Everyone loves you. So what's exactly stopping you putting in the hours? That's the most ridiculous thing I can ever hear from a player. Is like, oh yeah, or this, or travel, or jet lag. Just play the game. Shut up.
Yanko with the sass.
Bit of
Pull
vitriol
back
there.
the curtain. There it is. The vinegar boiling up inside him. But yes, okay. So when it comes to putting in the effort, the human side of Counter Strike, it is clear that I genuinely think this roster, as much as I loved Stewie in Cloud9, truly fun to watch and fun to see, especially Stewie Automatic combination, all of that good stuff. I actually have very high expectations for the new Cloud9. I think FNS has been in the doldrums of North America for so long now. He's definitely going to have picked up a lesson or two. Now he gets not only a strat book that he can really work with, he doesn't have to, pull an NBK and start, writing Word documents for every single map. He's actually got something to work with. He's got the structure, the framework outlined already. Now he has that beautiful, opportunity where he's got hard hitters, hopefully players that can take their own initiative and can make their own decisions, and he can make those calls. I have high expectations.
Yes, but
why are you looking at me like that?
Because they're in a position, as soon as things go bad, this team is done.
Oh, is it?
Come on, Skadoodle went, guys, I'm out. And then 2 days later, he's like, well, I'm back, And then you've got players like Automatic who gods of the game who could go to any team, right? This guy is he's a big fragger, he's a hard hitter. In-game sound, that's fantastic news. We're getting close. I just think that this roster needs to have, I guess, significant results early. They need to continue what they did in Marseille. They don't necessarily need to do better than that, but they need to continue on that similar path.
I mean, how ridiculous is it that, you know, Skadoodle, like the whole announcement situation was like, I'm inactive, and then Skadaddy's back like 2 weeks after. In the meantime, he was standing in. It's just the most ridiculous announcement ever of roster changes.
Did you see the tweet longer or the statement afterwards? It was quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot going into it. But for me, another like interesting comparison when you talk about Cloud9 is maybe Navi with Simple, right? And how things work when you swap out a star, or maybe Mouse Sports when Eco left, right? There's like no doubt that Simple is an amazing individual player, and him stepping in instead of Zeus at the time is, you know, team is instantly 50% better, but if everyone else remains at the same level. But if Simple comes in 50% better and everyone else is 15% worse, 4 players, 60%, and then the team as a whole is worse. That's why, you know, team is not around one player, and you can never say, yeah, Navi isn't working because of Simple. He cannot be the problem. It's just about, then you need to build the team better around him, right? You need to make the supporting cast either change the players or change the roles for the players. We saw recently in the past 2 months maybe Electronic playing much better because he's having a more assertive role, right? He's taking more of what Edward used to do, and Edward is now supporting him and Simple more, and that's why Navi has had some better results, right? If you put Electronic or Flamey, for that example, in a support position where then they're not going to be in a spot where they can help out Simple more and do more fragging, and that's why a lot of the times you're just going to see Simple light up the scoreboard, and it might be a close win or a close loss, but you always are left wondering where's the rest of the team.
Absolutely, and if you're wondering where on earth is the Counter-Strike, fear not, it sounds like we are ready. We're going to be jumping into this one. It will be Cloud9 versus Grayhound. Let's go ahead and check in with your casters. They are indeed Hank the Tank and Harry.
You didn't even get a fun name. That's a shame.
Don't worry, Big Al and the Breakdown boys will have one for me.
Well,
you know, in the future.
I'm sure they can come up with something. Don't worry about it. It's going to be Mirage again, Harry. Another interesting game here. One very huge, heavy-hitting team and a bit of an underdog here. But I'm told these guys are the best current Australian team who still reside on these shores. So we'll see what happens. Grayhound starting on the T side here. We're going to have the likes of Big Dick Stacy, but they're calling him now. Gratisfaction we're called Grat, I think we're going to stick with. And Urk for the Urcast. Okay?
Yeah, I'm glad that we got that established early on.
Good to make sure everyone's on the same page.
No, that's good. And well, I'm looking forward to seeing how Grayhound play. The Aussie casters, we were speaking to them, Henry, and they were painting a pretty good picture about these guys. Now we've got Big Dick Stacy over here towards Apartments, as he's now been christened. Going to be there with him. Grayhound, they've gone for a pretty standard buy. You have the PT50 up on Dexter, a little bit utility spread between Urk and him. They've got enough to go for a bit of a set piece over here towards the A bomb site, which does look to be the case. They're going to start to rotate around. What we kind of started to see teams do more often than not now, Henry, I'd say, is leave CT open. Is the pretty standard sort of play for this A bomb site. I'm curious to see how Grayhound do approach this. Are they just going to stick to what we know? But I don't know. With 4 players over in Palace, maybe not.
This could be the old flash attack. He sent 3 players. It looks like 4, actually. And they'll throw the flash over. That's why it's called the flash attack. And they'll try and take down Automatic. But he spotted so many players, and it looks like they are going to be styling on Grayhound here. Automatic makes it look too easy, doesn't he? That was a little bit too crisp for my liking. Flying Star for Cloud9. Not a similar story to what we saw against Renegades before, who struggled against Legacy, who was certainly the lesser team there. But it's Cloud9, great start. Certainly the favourites in this one. I've been told Grayhound have some great players within them. Gratisfaction is the AWPer of the squad, apparently one of the best AWPers in the Australian region. We'll see what he can do here. I'm excited to see whether he can perform against the aforementioned Skadoodle. We'll see. He brings up the scout this round, as he'll have the smoke, the flashbangs, and the defuse kit. Not so much of a force buy here from the Grayhound boys. Going to have 2 sets of armor. It's going to be Dick Stacy. That name is a bit much for me. I'm not going to lie to you. I like it, but keep saying that over and over again in a serious manner. It's going to be really difficult. And Urk with the CZ armor combo. But that nade is going to do an absolute ton of damage. Good lord. Malta takes the absolute brunt of it down to 12 HP. And that should be the round concluded pretty much there.
Yeah, no, I mean, that is so much damage done with 1 nade. Oh, I mean, if that doesn't bring you out of retirement, I don't know what will. Skadoodle's going to be happy with that one. Tarek down here in Connector as well He's going to have players going by. Automatic watching for this boost. Oh, Urka's going to be allowed up there, but Automatic now just backs away from the angle. Tarek finds the man on the base of the boost, and actually then to add insult to injury. Urka's going to go ahead and hop down. Tarek will be found in connector. So there's a rifle for them to grab, and Gratisfaction, he's going to be the man to go ahead and get it. Automatic over in the window, able to find himself one. But this round's not over just yet. They have that one FAMAS to work with. FNS, he's got aggressive over here towards apartments, holding close with the UMP. And he's going to have his work cut out for him. 3 players about to come his way, and he has to try and hold back the coming tide in these opening fights. He's going to go down. Gratisfaction finds him, and now it's Automatic alone and inside of B. Down goes one, and the second as well. Automatic's looking good. Cloud9 second round.
Very comfortable stuff. Give him a couple of frags, but should be the full eco now for Grayhound. Cloud9 haven't really stepped out of line at all here. 2-0 for them. Should be up against Glocks, maybe P250s, depending on which way Grayhound will be operating in round number 3 here. Do I see any P250s? I do not. Just Glocks, no armor, full eco. There it is. $200 spent by Malta. As we'll see whether they can even get a bomb plant, and that would be a miracle in itself. A bomb being planted would be ideal. You'd have to trade out at least 1 kill towards B, maybe 2. We'll see. Squiddiddle still on the scouts. He is very well versed with this weapon, and we'll see if he can start tagging up some players. Maybe go for some lovely headshots here.
Now, the thing that was interesting to me is in that little interview piece that they showed over on the desk, Grayhound came into this feeling pretty confident. So, forward to seeing how they fare when they get onto the rifles. Actually, they'll be able to find a frag inside the B bomb site, and that's a bomb plant as Urka is going to be allowed to get that down. Now, Automatic does find it, but they're going to take that extra money from the bomb plant every single day.
All things considered, great round by Grayhound. That might seem a little bit silly if you're not that familiar with Counter-Strike, but you get 1 kill, you get the bomb down, and the bomb being planted means you get $800 per player going to the next round. So that's actually very promising now for the Grayhound boys. We'll see. Will Squiddiddle keep the scout? Before I can even finish the sentence, he picks up the AWP. And here we go then. Gratisfaction, we'll be calling him Grat, just to make sure everyone's on the same page again. He'll have the AWP as well. I've heard he can be quite stunning with the AWP. So this could be quite an interesting matchup. I want to see him hit some good shots, apply some pressure to Squiddiddle. Don't give him an easy ride. He'll have a good spawn towards A. He'll be looking for players crossing towards that connector. So he'll try to beat the smoke, not going to get it. But does make his presence known, but so does Squiddiddle, using the gap in the smoke to take down Malta. 5-on-4, job done. But I do suspect Cloud9 will be presenting that lack of respect Counter-Strike coming in here. We saw quite a reserve game from Renegades. I don't think Cloud9 will be doing that. As long as they're winning rounds, they'll be going for more and more kills. Tarek with a double there, and that should be a lockdown before we can even get going here. There's Grat, at least with 1 kill.
Yeah, but they still really got their work cut out for them, and Grat already being tagged down at 14 HP. His time is looking limited. Automatically going to get rid of Urka down there in mid. And Grat 1v4, 1 minute and 10 seconds left on the clock, and they might just come hunting for him. They know where he is. He fired off that shot earlier on that dealt with Tarek. So they want to try and keep the AWP out of his hands if they can. But he's going to start to back away. Now, there is a wrap round coming in from Automatic. And I think, you know, that's kind of the scary thing right now. You mentioned they're going to play a no-respect style. Automatic, he hasn't offered any respect the way of Grayhound just yet. I think he's 9-0 off the top of my head.
Yeah,
so
Automatic in like top form is nuts. That guy definitely is the superstar at Cloud9 right now. If you're not aware, obviously FNS, new to the squad, replaced Stewie2K. Squiddiddle was supposed to be gone as well, but he came back. He was gone for 2 days, but still, nice vacation. Go have a couple of dinners, some drinks. Come back, join the team again, and it's all.
Yeah, that was really odd, wasn't it? The whole, you know, I'm retiring, and then just kept playing
like,
anyway.
I won a major. I'm gonna go cash in my millions of dollars, buy a yacht. But no, he said that's not enough.
Yacht prices have gone up. He's back in. He's ready. Inflation is just a harsh mistress. But here we go, Grayhound. They've gone for the 4 spider this round, as you would expect. They've got 2 players over here towards ramp. One of them is the bomb, and Tarek looks like he might just go through. Rush is here with him. Maybe going to try wrapping up through lower tunnels as the rest of the Grayhound boys start to take position here. Squiddiddle is in a bit of danger. But if the bomb gets found, this round should be all said and done. Oh, quick double from Tarek. And now it is just the 3 remaining players that were down here in the lower tunnels. They're going to get hunted down. And actually, they found one.
Well, it looked like a double lineup there for Automatic, but he gets greased by the CZZ. He does do a lot of damage, especially towards Mr. Dick Stacey there, down to 2 HP. Urk will be on 62. They won't be winning this round, but at least they've given themselves a fighting chance to cause some financial damage towards Cloud9. CZ's 1 in 4 now, but Skadoodle watching for the window boost. Less than a minute remaining. The bomb's down in the A ramp, and that's where we saw Tarek get a couple of kills. So Grayhound will just be trying to do anything they can. He might be able to get this kill. Malta unlucky with that one. Takes FNS down to 7 HP, but another frag. Tarek caught out of line. That's the lack of respect I'm talking about. He doesn't need to be there at all, Harry. He could just hold the bomb. It's on the A ramp. Round is completely locked in, but he's made a bit of a mistake there. Pushed a bit forward, and it's still time for them to recover another rifle. I don't think they'll win the round, but it certainly makes things a little bit more uncomfortable. Oh my goodness, not the team kill. Dick Stacey will be dropped by Malta. He was very low HP anyway, so you can see Malta making up for it there, and he could get the double. Not quite. Now Work with 15 seconds. That's got reasonable HP. If he gets a plant down, this won't be too bad. It looks like he probably will. Good HE grenade, and the bomb's going to be planted. Will he do anything more with it?
1v2, and Urk is going to take the peak. He's won it out versus Rush, and now it's just FNS. Urk gets them both. 4 big kills, and they try to play it with no respect, and maybe they're going to have to learn some now as Urk smites down 4 in that in that after-plant situation. He looks so good. That was fantastic from him. Kind of taking advantage of everything that Cloud9 had given him there with that lack of respect.
Yeah, Urk's the Mongolian player Chad was referencing. Yeah, Tarek, that's the reason they lost the round. No reason to push that whatsoever. He had the bomb, he had the man advantage, and he pushes around, misses a shot, and all falls apart. And that will be the wake-up call now for Cloud9. Still absolutely fine overall in the grand scheme of things, but didn't have to be a defeat there whatsoever. And here we go, then round of 6. Skadoodle this time in the Palace area. Double up set up for the first time from Cloud9. Skadoodle joined by Automatic. Will be on the AWP as well. Yet to really see him kick off. As Tarek watches towards the underpass, and Automatic will watch top and middle. Nice little crossfire here. Looking quite comfortable at this point. You see Tarek's position is great because T's aren't really going to check that one. They're so focused on the window, the connector, and we'll see how this works out for them. As I built up, this should be a nice quick kill for Tarek if Urk goes any further. I doubt he will. He's going to back up towards middle. But there is the smoke. And now things become a little bit more interesting. Tarek now has to change his attention towards mid and that underpass. He could fall down here. Doesn't get anything for it, but another team kill as Dick Stacey will find Malta. That's not ideal.
That's actually revenge from the previous round.
Yeah, that's right.
But Malta did just get the Dick Stacey there. 4 on 4. They're going to go boosting up Urker into window. And, just TKs aplenty as Urker looks to try and lead the charge. Automatic has now donned the AWP. Going to start to go peeking into window. He has to be a little bit weary as there is a man boosted up. Grat in the meantime's up through connector. They throw out the utility into the A-bomb site, and Urk are going to try and win this fight, but Automatic holds his nerve. Grat spots Skadoodle, but Skadoodle going to be the man to win that out from Palace. They know where both these players are in the A-bomb site. Grat was able to spot out Rush, but Dexter and Dick Stacey have their work cut out for them. They're able to go to find one on the entry, but they've still got so many kills to find, and Automatic once again a second kill with the AWP. FNS to finish things off. Cloud9 and they're going to be moving on to a 5th round.
Cloud9 managing to reset Grayhound here. Here was the team kill, I'd imagine, indeed. Got the short end of the dick on that one, I'm afraid. As we'll be seeing round number 7 come in. It doesn't look like the force buy from Grayhound just yet. They'll be going for a bit of a partial investment. Deagles, CZs. And a couple of flashbangs available. Urk with the smoke. He's also got some armor towards B. Maybe not a rush, but just holding up towards this side of the map. Couple of setups still hanging true. It will be Automatic and Skadoodle holding towards middle. Bit of damage inflicted there towards Malta. It's Cloud9 looking for the first frag. Certainly going to get it. Tarek has given one round away with his overzealous nature, but this one looks quite comfortable. I say that. Dexter does find 1 kill. And it will be a 4 on 2.
That's a pretty big kill to find as well. I mean, Automatic still here, just going to go to throw down the gauntlet the second they try to push through. So it is just Grat 1v4. Big Benny Benassi fan, Grat's faction. As he starts to make his way in through apartments. Automatic still just humming down the sights. He's going to go ahead and lock in at that 6th round for Cloud9. They keep it pretty clean as well, only losing FNS over there towards B. You feel like maybe if there was a few more people over towards apartments, they could have got something done with that round. Perhaps looked to overwhelm Automatic, but still They're almost in with a shot at the buy. Looks like they might just take one more round sitting this out and go for the partial here.
I think you might be right. I see a UMP for Dick Stacey. The rest of them, those CZs, a Glock for Grat. Remember, he's the AWP and he's all the money he can get. And an A execution. They've got a bit of utility here. 4 smokes, flashbangs, a Molotov. And they'll be trying their best to get that bomb down again. These rounds always a bit deadly. Back in the day, it was a Tech 9 where you could actually have quite a fighting chance on the A attack with just some smokes and the flashbangs. CZ not as powerful in this particular sort of setup. Sure, if you get close enough, you can cause some damage, but as you can see, CT's nice and deep on the bomb site towards connector. Smoke's coming in. That'll be the cue for the CTs to change their attention. As you can see, Skudidal rotating through, trying to beat the smoke there, and he'll just drop a flash, jump off the bench, I'd imagine, as Rush looks above the smoke, trying to deny anything he can here.
He won't spot anything just yet. Does he go over? He's not going to make that call. Instead, he hops down, and surely Grant and Dick Stacey heard that one. The smoke now starts to fade. They go pushing in, and they're going to win that fight. Just the Glock to find Rush. Dexter still over in the top of mid. Could be the man as well that just throws this whole round down the drain for Cloud9. He's now going to start to go creeping in. He does have Malta with him. Only 3 players for Grayhound inside the site. He takes a bit of a jog, and now he's in the back. Missed shots. They still don't know that he's here, and he's going to be able to get himself one. Automatic. Surely there's no way for him back into this round, and there is not. Grat double kill at the very end. And they're able to go ahead and find that on the back of a pretty weak buy, all things considered.
Yeah, way too passive there from Cloud9. I think they're anticipating something a little bit easier to manage as the CZs get way too close to the bomb sites. Rush found absolutely nothing. Maybe preferred him to get a bit more aggressive. That one, get on top of the ticket booth, go for that one kill, then drop down. But was hoping he'd see players on top of Tetris, jumping towards the steps. Unfortunately for him, they didn't do that at all. They stayed low on the ground, which worked out very nicely. Forced Cloud9 to an eco now. Grayhound starting to make a dent here, up against Deagles, CZs, a few smokes. Cloud9 will treat this like an actual gun run. I say they have gone for a 4-man stack towards A. And this could be to the demise of Urk as he maybe gets saved by the smoke there. It'll hold him off. And they'll have 4 players in the Palace. Yeah, good idea. Fall back. I'm not really sure they're really going to do with that one. Just walk out of Palace, hope for the best. Up against those CZs, that could have fallen apart. So, say again, that smoke maybe saves the round for them. Just one player towards B. That's Dexter. As they will rotate over. Up against these under-equipped Cloud9 players. But trust me, they can cause some damage with those Desert Eagles especially.
Yeah, they are not to be underestimated. You do have FNS still in towards that B-bomb site. He's just jump peeking for the information. And Grayhound, they look like they kind of had the right read on everything. Now they've thrown the smokes over into mid, and they're going to change their sights back towards this A-bomb site. I don't think it's going to hold too much joy for them. Cloud9 with 4 players stacked up here. They might only have pistols to their name, but the CZs, the Deagles, all incredibly strong. If in the right hands of Cloud9, they are definitely the people for this scenario. Rush is going to be holding up close, and it's about to get tested. They don't check it. There's one, and going to be able to second him and Tarek. They combine for 2 quick kills between them, luckily enough. Urka and Grat start to hold this round back. Will they expect automatic? As he lies in wait, times tick low, and time could come to be the real problem here for Grayhound. They spray through.
Oh, there it is. Well played by Urk. Could have all fallen apart considering there was about 13 seconds remaining. If they overlooked that position and he can deny the plant, could have fallen apart. This was a good start. You see that flashbang approach from the T. Dick Stacey had to make better of that first kill, but luckily they scraped the run together. 6-3, looking quite, well, not quite competitive, but Grayhound certainly getting into the game now. Number 10. And the all back out for Skudidal, but Cloud9 after that, pretty massive mistake of overcommitting towards that A-ramp push. Satisfaction does manage to find Tarek. That's the push we're looking for. If you get a good spawn towards A, you can take that approach. And Skudidal trying to answer back straight away here as he pushes towards top of middle. And we're looking for that next kill. This is out of a difficult shot for him, but Malta, we can't see his lucky stars. He's still alive.
Grayhound now switching things up. They're going to go ahead and send a few players over there towards the B-bomb site. Trying to now also go in for some mid-control late in the round. There's Dick Stacey to go ahead and pick up FNS inside of B. And FNS has been that lone defender since losing out on Tarek. Their resources get stretched that much more, and he was the only man inside of B. Now they've had to pull automatic off from that mid area. Skadoodle going to try and take up this position. pressure's going to be on now, but Grayhound once again back towards A, thinking this site is going to hold some sort of solace for them. Rush and Skadoodle here. 40 seconds left. Henry, they're leaving it down to the wire once again.
Yeah, but it's looking quite promising, I have to say. 5 on 3. 35 seconds short, but there's only one player waiting for them. That's Rush, who hasn't posted massive numbers just yet. If he can find 2 kills, though, could be enough. Looks like Cloud9 will be focusing towards B. Rush now truly to be tested. So many players around him. There's the first kill, not the cleanest, though, and down he goes.
Yeah, Skadoodle from CT. How much can he get done? Flash going to go in. And that keeps him off the angle. Can't deny the bomb plant. And he has got automatic here. The question now becomes how long do these two stick around before they decide to save. And already automatic peeling off the angle. Skadoodle going to join him. Cloud9, they will just concede this round. Grayhound going to be moving on to a 4th, and they keep it pretty clean as well. Grat being a man who's currently got $8,000. He's looking like the bank of this team right now.
Yeah, he's got a lot going for him, and this is where Grayhound really come into this game. That's Cloud9 with a pretty shoddy buy, not getting much done at all. Rushed with the only kill of the round. Best of 1, remember, and Cloud9 on the more favourable side, counter-terrorist right now. Skadoodle will be saving the AWP along with automatic Dem for a 4. And will they live to tell the tale? Looks like they will. As Grayhound find their next round. 6-4 now. Skadoodle will have to try and carry this one. I don't think they force buy here. They'll have enough to work with if they take a bit of an eco at this point. So PT50s, FNS maybe gets just that smoke and nothing else. That's the PT50, there it is. So Skadoodle, we need to see him go aggressive, Harry. He wants to go be assertive at the very start of the round, see if he can get the first picks. We'll follow him for now and see whether he goes towards Palace, something like that. Looks like that's where he will be going. Jump on the boxes here, and he might want to push a bit further in this actual corner just to have a bit more of a surprise position to avoid a flashbang like that, but gets him right in the face, and he'll still hold the line, but not for long. Down he goes. What was that?
That is one hell of an aid from Dexter.
Did he take any damage initially? That can't have been a 100 damage nade, right?
I don't know, Henry. That just blew my... Yeah, I think that was a 100 damage nade.
He had no armor,
yeah.
So maybe that's why.
He's going to be feeling pretty hurt after that one.
Don't see that anymore.
Still, FNS going to fall as out of the hands of Dick Stacey. That's the B-bomb site gone. It's all falling down around Cloud9. Tarek's got the AWP, and he's sticking around a little bit. He has to watch out so as to not get caught out here. They would love to hold on to the AWP into the next round. And he's worked himself into a bit of a tricky spot. Now you imagine, might be able to find the timing just to dart back across. He's going to try and go for it, and he does manage to get away. So Grayhound moving on to a 5th. Dexter hunting down a few of these players, but no one from Cloud9 really in this area. And in fact, the Rush might even be able to find him.
I think you're right. He'll be coming from T-spawn. Dexter playing a more defensive position now, though, in towards our Palace. As the bomb is down in B, Rush will just be looking for any sort of weaponry here, knowing that Dexter could be on the other side. He is, but it's going to be Tarek that finds him first. So Tarek going to save the AWP. That's another rifle picked up at least, and surely Rush will find that one. There it is, the AK-47. All things considered, that was pretty much an eco, and they do manage to bring in the AWP for the next round, picked up from Skadoodle's corpse, and a couple of rifles as well. So it gives them a nice healthy buy here in round number 12. But who would have thought after the start Cloud9 had 4-0, was this straight up 100 damage? So it actually, I think it went inside his head, unarmored head, and completely destroyed him with a full damage grenade. I think that's exactly 100. It must have been.
Yeah, I think for that to happen, it does actually have to hit them to tick the 1 damage onto it. So yeah, no, that is a real butthurt nade. Here's the push towards the top of mid. Tarek going to be leading the charge. He's hiding in the smoke right now, and he has Skadoodle to go for the bait and switch down in connector. They're going to hope that all the attention of Greyhounds is down onto the AWP for Cloud9. Now Tarek emerges, and there's the kill to come through. Picture perfect execution of that. In the meantime, though, speaking of executions, out here towards the A-bomb site, Greyhound living up to their name, quickly in towards A. Malta's going to open things up. 4-4, bomb goes down, and he's going to keep charging forward. Second kill, FNS doesn't stand the test of time. Now Automatic and Tarek, they're able to pull this round back, leaving it onto Grat and Aka 2 versus 3 with the bomb down.
Here we go then, retake begins. Cloud9 certainly being tested in this round. Lots of money available for the T's. Can they hold off the retake? There are kits available. Cloud9 have to get past Grak here. Urk waiting in the smoke. First shot connects. Tarek goes down. But now Grab really tested at this point. Flashbang comes in. Shot landed, and Automatic will be able to finish things off there. Got a little bit close for comfort, but the defuse will be successful. 7-5, Cloud9 keep 2 players alive, and Automatic, they've saved so many weapons here. The money's actually pretty good after losing 2 or 3 rounds in a row. So Automatic 7k, same story for Rush. And I would predict at this point that they will be hopefully closing things out 10-5. They looked a little bit shaky, maybe overzealous at times, but Grayhound certainly putting up a decent fight, I have to say. Like, some of their coordination, individual plays have been quite good. Urks on 10 kills, Gratz on 8. We'll see whether they can get a couple more on the board here as we enter round number 13. Grag over the same pick here. He probably won't commit to the round. Let's watch for the connector push. Doesn't quite get there in time, but Skadoodle in that connector for anyone to cross towards the mid boxes.
Oh, Malta's gone down fast towards short. Skadoodle's going to catch that out all day long. And now Urk are going to try and take up position here in mid. Wants to try and find a trade if he can, although no one going to give anything up from Cloud9. Dick Stacey on the bomb on the back of Dexter over in Palace. They want to try and go back to this A execute. This A bomb site has been pretty good to the Greyhounds, although not in this round. Dick Stacey going to go down. Urk now tries to emerge through the smoke, and he's going to get caught off guard. It's all on to Dexter and Grat. 2 versus 5. 1 minute, 4 seconds left on the clock, and Grat, oh, he's going to get tagged down low, finished off by Rush. Don't imagine Dexter can get too much done here. And might just be better in this situation if maybe he tries to look to hold on to the A kill. You can't imagine Cloud9 are going to let him get away with it.
Well, there it is. FNS will confirm the clean round there from Cloud9. That's more like in round number 14. We'll call for a timeout from Grayhound here. See whether they can get things together. They have still got plenty of cash. As we'll go into round number 14 here. I'll take the timeout. And we're certainly going to buy with Malta just shy of 9k. Same story for Grat. They'll work out whether they're going to get the orbs out. Maybe they want to see whether they can go for a faster approach, and just discussing things now. There's Dick Stacey in the middle with the in-game leader. Just discussing things with his teammates and working out what they can do to break the defense of Cloud9 here.
You know, they came into this one saying they felt pretty confident, Henry.
Well, yeah, you've got to have confidence, Harry. You come in saying they were probably going to lose.
That is
probably
true.
not going to set yourself up. I would say most sensible people will say Cloud9's going to win this one. But you've got to believe in yourself. You've got to know that what potential you do have on your best possible day. Cloud9 have a mediocre performance. There's a chance you could win it, right? And this is still a competitive game right now. They can get one more round. I would say they could still do it in the second half. We'll see. And double upsetter comes out again for Cloud9. Malta watching towards the underpass here. Looks like a B execution from what I can see. You can see got no one towards A ramp or Palace. Barely any presence towards middle. So they need to maybe think about their next move in the next 10 to 15 seconds. They have no idea if players like Tarek are pushing that A ramp for information. You can't let an entirety of a position like A bomb site be open for this amount of time. They have got a player in T spawn, so at least they have a control of the flanks coming in. That's now going to be removed. 10. And what is the final play here?
A boost from Urk, going to get spotted out by Skadoodle. That could have been the real difference maker there for Grayhound. Once again, they've conceded a man early on, and now they have to try and fight their way back into this round. Dick Stacey still over in apartments. No joy for him, though, as no one from Cloud9 goes peeking into this. Malta's been able to get into this position over on short. That makes things a bit more interesting. But Cloud9 with 3 players stacked up inside of B. One of whom being Skadoodle, who has looked very, very good thus far. It is going to be tricky. Although he's actually going to start to peel away. So maybe now this is their window. This is their small chance of opportunity back into this round. 25 seconds. They've left it down at the clock once again. And Malta, he has to find this opener onto FNS on short. He's going to go backing into it, but he wins the fight. FNS goes down. Automatic now arrives with the orb. Quick flick out. He's only managed one. There's players all around, and he's out with the CZ. Tries to deny the bomb plant. He's able to find Dexter, and he's not done yet. Grat does get rid of him. Bomb plant looking to go down, but Skadoodle smites down the bomb planter, and just like that, Cloud9, they're going to find themselves a 9th round.
Bit dicey there for Cloud9. Automata doing a fantastic job, though, making things incredibly uncomfortable as the CZ was pulled out. he missed the flick shot, which had been absolutely nuts if he connected that one. But the CZ was enough. He gets 1 kill, shows enough presence to deny the plant coming through. It's round number 15, and some compromises need to be made. Grayhound will bring in a CZ, a Galil for Gratz, and a very limited amount of utility here. They have 3 smokes, flashbangs. Looks like the A execution. A lot of the underdog teams will focus on set pieces to try and get themselves towards that bomb site. Hopefully, finding themselves a plant at the very start. That's a good smoke thrown by Rush that will hold them off at least for the next 15 seconds. They'll take that time just to get towards the A ramp and establish themselves there. Firing off some bullets, and I don't think the smokes really will have much impact. It's going to be Skadoodle with an open bomb site here as Tarek strikes from the shadow position. And that round over before it really starts there. 10-5, Cloud9 with up and down performance, mostly up. A few rounds slip by the wayside with aggressive pushes, but I think Grayhound showed a pretty decent performance overall. And ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to take a break there, and we'll be right back with the second half.
Well, Cloud9, they're looking good. Greyhounds, they're in the doghouse. They're not really looking too great right now, Henry. 5-10 at the end of that first half.
Yeah, but some promising signs. Remember, Cloud9 are a world-class squad. We haven't seen much of Grayhound. They've definitely got some interesting players and a chance to fight back here. It isn't all done. As we're going to the second half, they move over to the CT side now. I'd say 5 rounds is enough on their T side. They showed some interesting tactics. Cloud9 gave them a little bit too much freedom at some points, but here we go. The second half begins. There'll be 2 smokes, a very standard approach from Cloud9. Just get the 2 smokes down, flashbangs, focus on CT spawn. Smokes deployed already. There's the flash, and in they go, just trying to challenge them. Straight away, it's going to be Tarek to lead the charge, and Dexter can't hit that first headshot.
Yeah, and he's here alone as well. He has got support coming in from Grap, but look at him trying to run for the hills. He has to back away, and Tarek and Rush, they're both going to go hunting. Frags go the way of Cloud9. And it's a very, very big investment from Grayhound. 2 players wrapping in through T-Spawn, Malta and Dick Stacey. They have to make this work, and they're going to get spotted out by Skadoodle now. He is able to manage 1. Malta still creeping forward. Urka's going to drop out Rush. Cloud9 can't let this round elude them here. Malta's going to get tagged down low. Him and Urka both 41 HP between them. It all falls onto FNS, and he's landed that shot down range. Now it's just Malta. 1v1. Does have a kit, but time is ticked far too low. FNS down in connector. He's locked in this round. Cloud9, they're going to do it. They win out the pistol in the second half. They're going to go 11-5 up.
Big pistol victory for Cloud9. That should secure the game, but Grayhound have a couple of chances here. If they can force by in round number 2, there's always a chance to steal the round back. But that was pretty standard procedure from Cloud9. Smokes down, faster approach than I anticipated, but in they go. Bomb was planted. Good approach on the 2 versus 1 from FNS there. This guarantees that first kill. Plays the time, and nothing Grayhound can do about it. 11-5 is the scoreline, and there will be a force buy here from the CT forces. Smokes a 5-7 from Dick Stacey. Gratz will be on the full eco for the AWP, and we'll see whether they can find anything here at all. Automatic with the Galil. What a rifle heavy focus and not a single SMG. You don't see that every day. Normally a couple of UMPs or MAC-10s. Skadoodle does have the scouts, but Dexter has the frag. Down goes Rush as he'll push towards the Palace and actually pick up a lovely AK-47 there.
Yeah, they're going to take that all day long. That's going to be a weapon more powerful than the majority of that Cloud9's. And now only one more AK left up on the back of FNS. And Cloud9, it feels like, they've collapsed back, Henry. They've given up a lot of map control here. They've tried to play this very, very passively, now holding their default early on so as to not get rushed down by Grayhound. And have conceded a frag over towards Palace. And now they look a little bit unsure as to where to go on the back of this. They have to try and take back the control of the areas that were lost over here towards Ramp and Palace, and that's what you can see Automatic and Skadoodle are doing right now. And Urka still lies in wait. He's still going to be holding down Ramp with that trusty CZ. FNS and Skadoodle coming his way, and Urka spots the shadow. Down goes the first man. Skadoodle, not the spot you want to be in with the scout. Oof. He's able to trade up to the AK, and Automatic finds Dexter in the meantime, so the rifle gets nothing done for Grayhound. Tarek, well, he's going to drop Dick Stacey, leaving it onto Grat and Malta.
Well, this round isn't done just yet. Malta, unfortunately for him, does get smoked out. There was a real chance to find another kill. Down to the 2-on-2. Malta only with the USP, though. Maybe the CZ had a real chance there. Tarek will spot the last remaining player, but it's Grat on 30 HP. Somehow comes out on top there. But there it is. The final kill comes in. Nice try by the Grayhound boys, but unfortunately now they're full eco. So looking down the barrel at 13-5 against Cloud9. You can see Dick Stacey not really providing much. 3 kills, 15 deaths. Here's the in-game lead up. I was looking for a bit more from Grat as well. 11 and 13. Hasn't really set the scoreboard on fire. Hasn't really shown us that he could possibly be a massive threat for Cloud9 here. But we'll give him another gun round here. That might be all they'll see is one here on the CT side. A stack though. This could be problematic for Cloud9, but only silenced USPs. Automatic should be able to handle this one. In fact, everyone starts chumming into frags. Lots of damage inflicted. Look at all that. Unlucky enough to get a single kill here. 4 headshots on those USPs. But Grat will have to fall back. 5 versus 1. Bomb to be planted, and he rotates towards short.
And I mean, if you're Grat, you're going to be a little bit devastated just looking at how much damage was done. When the actual kind of collision of both teams in towards that bomb site comes through, you just see Cloud9 get painted up with red, but all the kills go their way. So 13th going to be locked in. Kind of, at least he's not going to give away the extra, $600 the way of someone like FNS. He's probably not too keen on going hunting, being tagged down so low.
Yeah, but he can still wait for some sort of exit frag here. If he looks towards that vent or CT spawn, he knows 4 of them are tagged up. There's headshots aplenty. As FNS does come in, does a bit more damage there. Couldn't quite connect to the head. Clean Super Cloud9, 13-5 does well and truly come through, but last chance saloon here for Grayhound. Grat can bring out the AWP, and this is where he really needs to shine on the CT side of Mirage. Looking like a very one-sided game now, but there's Rush shutting down those USPs. Nothing really to write home about that. And a timeout will be called. Why not? You get to use them. It's only a best of 1 here. But we'll see. Not out of it just yet. It's going to take an absolutely behemoth performance from the Greyhounds here to show us whether they can still fight here on the CT side. Tactical pause. What can they bring to the table? The thing is, on the first gun round, you don't really want to present a really aggressive round. It's normally quite standard. I guess what you could be discussing is, do we go for the double AWP setup? Do we go for an aggressive pick with the AWP? But they will bring that out. Grat and Malta with the snipers. It's pretty much the strongest setup, in my opinion, on Mirage on CT side. FNS We'll have the UMP. Starts to head towards middle. 3 players of our helmets could cause some damage in that respect. Molotov towards connector to stop those orbs. Flashbangs in, going for mid control. Maybe it's a nice fast ace play here.
That does look to be the case, Henry. They're going to start to wrap on in through connector. Legs coming his way, and FNS going to be able to win that out. Now they stop, though. They've had to slow down to a standstill. Grat's going to go and find that through the smoke onto FNS. Now, Crab walking out. That's Skadoodle. He's going to go to drop Dexter. Now the A-take starts to come through. Grat's still here on top of the stairs. There's flank from automatic that looks to put the nail in the coffin. Grat's going to start to fade away. And now it's the double AWP setup in this retake as they do just concede the A-bomb site. This is the... I was going to say, this is kind of the go-to bad situation to be in, but with Malta winning that fight onto automatic, suddenly 2-on-2 doesn't look all too bad for Grayhound. Malta going to try and find something else here as he creeps forward, and that's the shot onto Rush. Now it's Skadoodle, usually the man who dons the AWP for Cloud9, but this time he's only got the AK to try and make it work. Flash goes high, he's going to take the fight with Malta. Malta trades out to the AK. Skadoodle going to miss the spray, and Malta, 3 big kills, locks in a 6th round for Grayhound.
Well, there we go. Malta stepping up. AWP in hand. Does manage to find 3 in total. 1v1 with Skadoodle. Does manage to come out on top. Saves the AWP for the next round and keeps Grayhound within the game. Round 20. Need to avoid the reset. A very similar situation we had in the first map. We saw Renegades take down Legacy. 13-6, and if they lose this one, it is going to be a harsh reset. 14-6 down, pretty much GG. So they do need to convert this round as well. Great job to win it, but only 1 player survived. That was the main problem. And we'll go into a 5-rifle setup for Cloud9 here. Good news if the Greyhound, they can win this round. It does force Cloud9 to an eco, as Urk goes hunting towards that underpass area. FNS, though, ready and waiting with the AK.
He has to be careful, though. He's just going to hold his position. Aka now about to be faced with FNS, and if he wins this, maybe he is in some danger over here towards the top of mid as Cloud9 run boost Tarek out. Aka is to commit to this angle in towards apartments. He's going to get away with it. Cloud9 not having anyone here. Means he manages to get away and finds that kill for free onto FNS. Cloud9, they've lost the man, but they have taken control of mid as some form of compensation.
5-on-4. Greyhound with the advantage. But can they hold on to it? Smoke's deployed now towards connector. And it's looking like potential push up towards short. It's going to be connector first. Tarek will at least get intel that no one's inside that particular area. But as you can see, the key player for me right now is Dick Stacey. He's in the B apartments. He can be a real nuisance at this point. You can see automatic will be coming from that position. He can also rotate back in towards that B side, spray them down. And that's exactly what could happen here. Good flashbang available to him. And this is the play right here. Can he do anything with it? Just about. That's going to give us his position. Automatic will be coming and will take him down. Still with a man advantage, not for long. Tarek finds Malta. 10 seconds. Still could all fall apart. This kill decisive as Dexter does manage to take down automatic now. Tarek now in the 1v1.
Grad's got the AWP. He's dead in 1 shot regardless. Missed shot out from Grad now leaves it all down to this. Tarek, you need 4 big kills and he's going to get it done. Fantastic headshot out onto Grad as he locks in that round for Cloud9 at 14-6. And if that doesn't chip away at the old morale, I don't know what will. Fantastic stuff there from Tarek. 21 and 11, top of the board from Cloud9.
Automatic to 23.
Yeah.
So almost
there. Got a bit caught up. You know.
We all get a bit excited sometimes. But Greyhound are going to have to rally the troops now as they are 14-6 down. They're taking the full eco. They're going to allow Cloud9 to get to match point here in the best of 1. So that's a bold move. Let's see if it works out for them because maybe it will. This is quite a common strat. We're seeing a lot of teams stack window with silent USPs. If they win this round, this will be one for the ages. They managed to stay alive. And there's another dink coming in. Still a 3-on-3. They can recover a couple of rifles here. Bomb should be planted. Molotov towards the kitchen. Skadoodle will get that bomb down. Dexter still has a chance to win this one. This kill pretty much decided though. Great attempt. Gratz. Players in front of him. AK in hand. Bomb yet to be planted. Skadoodle will take care of that. And now the 3-on-2 begins. Remember, this was a full eco. Still looking a little bit uncomfortable Cloud9 here.
Nice shot out from Rush, and now it is all left on to Malta. These USPs have been pretty good to Grayhound, but he decides that that's it. That's enough. Just going to go and give this round up. Cloud9, they will reach match point 15-6. But still ballsy play coming in from Grayhound. As you pointed out, they went for the full eco there, just USPs, and they actually managed to get a decent bit done as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, that doesn't equate to too much. Win the round, sure, but now you've given up match points, and you need 9 in a row just to force overtime. It's not looking good, but Grayhound still going to fight back the best they can. We'll see what their money sits at right now. Around $4,000 per player. It will be Urk with 3,600. Same story for Grat, but he did save that AK-47. Potentially the last round here. No AWP available for Grat, who I have to say a little bit underwhelming from the kind of picture I was painted as to what he could deliver here, but we'll see whether he can do anything with this AK. Dick Stacey, 4-19 on the FAMAS. We'll have a look as to whether Skadoodle can open things up. Have a look at his spawn. Nothing too exciting there. Tarek to go first towards middle. Flashbang to set his teammates up. Smokes down, and Grat lucky to be alive. Tarek almost finds him.
Yeah, Cloud9 once again back in control of mid. Grayhound haven't really had an answer to this on their CT side. Grat's going to try and take the peak, tries to step up to the mark. Yeah, Scott Urker over towards Connector as well to help out. Nade finds a bit of chip damage on a FNS. Dick Stacey and Malta, they've both gone aggressive over here in towards apartments, and that's netted a frag out onto FNS down there into lower tunnels, and they're not ready for Dick Stacey here, but somehow Skadoodle, he's going to land that shot. He gets tagged down lower. Now they know that there's a man aggressive up and in the apartments. Cloud9 feeling a little bit claustrophobic here, getting cornered over into mid. They want to try and branch on out and take back some control, and they're going to look to find that down by Connector. Urka, first man to fall, 4-on-4.
Oof. Well, that's a nice shot by Tarek, and it could be one of the last, as Dick Stacey now has got 3 players in front of him. Probably finds his kill, but not even that. 4-on-2, the B bomb site is open, and Harry, I think we know which way this one is heading. It's going to be a Cloud9 victory, 16-6, unless Dexter and Grat can find some amazing form here. It pretty much is down to Grat. He's the only player close to the bomb site, AK-47 in hand. Check CPL first. Bomb to be planted, though. This kill suggests whether they got a chance. I don't think they have now. No kits, 4 players alive, and we will see this one come to its logical conclusion. Grayhound, I would say a little bit underwhelming this game, Harry, from the stories we were told of some of the names within this team. It was looking promising at points, but I felt like Cloud9 gave them the rounds that they potentially picked up. Not to suggest that they weren't good in their set pieces and stuff, but the rounds they did win is when Cloud9 were a little bit too aggressive. So we'll throw it back to the boys on the analyst desk and welcome them back. Hello, boys.
Thank you very much. Yes, indeed, the handsome Harry and Hank. We do now break this one down. And I think, you know, Henry's words are going to be kind of echoed now on the analyst desk. A disappointing performance from Grayhound despite some clear players to watch and some performances to keep our eyes open. It was almost a Cloud9 stomp.
Yeah, Dick Stacey was looking a bit limp there, wasn't he?
It was.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I hate you.
You like it?
Yeah, and a flaccid performance perhaps from some of the individuals of the Australian roster, but Grayhound Gaming just 6 rounds to show for their efforts.
Yeah, not ideal, and I think, you know, also individually, Grat and Dexter were really falling behind some of their teammates. And in a game like this, Mirage, right, a lot of fights, a lot of duels, you really need to be on point across the board when you're playing against a team like Cloud9. And Automatic wasn't taking any prisoners. I mean, almost single-handedly in the beginning of the game, he was racking up rounds for Cloud9, and that's what really put a stop for Grayhound to get out with more rounds in the first half.
Yeah, I think, you know, as these Australian teams, they've all got the A executes down pat, right? And if you do it enough times, eventually you're going to pull off a round, you're going to get a win there. Maybe you're getting a 1v1 or, you know, an afterplant scenario that's favorable, and you might be able to cheekily slide 1 or 2 rounds on the board. But other than that, I think we saw the lack of depth. We saw the firepower differential there between both teams. And it's good to see this form coming out from Automatic because he needs to carry it through. But one other caveat, I think, for Cloud9 throughout the tournament is in Marseille, to get them to the playoffs, Rush had a really good group stage. So they need to have that again from him if they want to continue this form. And yeah, I know what we're all thinking. I know what we all want to say.
Like, as much as I'd love to keep talking about Cloud9 Grayhound,
that's the one.
I'd like to instead just focus all of our attention on this B stream that's going on right now. I actually have it open on this laptop just
we got it
because
here as well.
if you're
We
wondering
got
why,
it here, yeah.
okay, if you're wondering why we're staring at our laptop screens, our Acer Predator laptop screens, it's because Tyloo versus SK is going on. And let's not forget the winner of this match, Cloud9, will play the winner of this one.
Yes.
Suddenly this bracket is going to get turned on its head if Tyloo convert what they currently have, a 14-12 lead on the CT side of Mirage versus SK Gaming. Our Cloud9 SK battle may not be seen.
And that was after SK had a 10-5 first half and won the pistol in the second.
Oh my
and
goodness.
converted the anti-force by round.
Oh my
and
goodness.
then they lost to USPs, Alex.
Oh my goodness.
They lost to USPs. It was 12-5 up for SK Gaming, and after that, I mean, it's 9 rounds in a row for Tyloo.
Bentet has 30 frags.
He's a beast.
SK can't get anything done on their T side.
But this is the thing, right? This is the question mark that we've been constantly posing about this SK roster and the addition of Stewie. When things, you know, when the proverbial hits the fan, how are they going to deal with these issues? Communication being a big one. And it's not that Stewie's not fragging. He's up towards the top of the charts there. This is everything else falling apart. And we always talked about how integral Taco was because he just basically did the jobs no one else wanted to. Who's in this team to do that now?
I think ideally to avoid confusion, it would be best if we use the same picture-in-picture and just put the B stream on it.
I don't know if we have
Because
I don't know
we're
if
just
the technology's
talking,
there.
If we're talking about a different
Yeah,
game,
you're
well,
right.
this is on the screen, but you know, there's not much to say about Cloud9 Grayhound. Everything went as expected, but right now SK clawing their way back. They actually managed to win a gun round, so it's going to be 14-13.
So if you're wondering, you're sitting there going, I want to see this stream, don't panic, you can load it up. There's 2 streams running simultaneously. It's just going to add a B. It's the B stream, so CSGO B, ESL_CSGO
But
B for the full
I
one.
think it's a very interesting situation, right? The way that game is developing, because it again points out some of the glaring issues with this roster change. You look at SK and how does SK play in general? There's not too many set pieces on the T side. It's default, get map information, Fallen makes the call, Cold Zero is somewhere lurking, you know, while the rest of the team is doing their thing, and he finishes rounds. That is very much reliant on communication, like perfect communication throughout, getting that map information and having faith and confidence in yourself and in your teammates. And you can see how probably the communication is lacking, which leads to a bit of panicking and doesn't let SK execute the way they're used to. And of course, that's going to cause a lot of frustration. And you see how it turns into this vicious cycle.
Well, you guys will be happy to know that we can watch that stream, and you guys can too, because we're going to take a quick break here on the A stream. We've got another one coming up after it. We get to see NRG versus Astralis. I've been looking forward to this one. Will they do what they've done online, offline? NRG, the North Americans who've been rising up the ranks, taking on the team that have been picking up pace, especially over in Marseille. It's all coming up after the break. Go check out SK Tyloo, because this is going to be a big one going down now. 13-14 on Mirage. See you in just a moment.